of scheduling for you. On Thursdays, today, I will be answering your yoga questions. And on Tuesdays, I will be uploading a yoga practice that's anywhere in the range from 20 minutes to 45 or maybe 50 minutes long for your home practice. So today's Thursday, so I'm here to answer your questions. And if you have one that you'd like me to answer in the future, just reach out to me through my website, BethGrahamWellness.com. Just send me a quick note and I'd love to connect. So the question is, in downward facing dog, should my heels touch the floor? And like the question I answered last week with Warrior 2 and the alignment of the hips and the knee, the answer is yes and no. So what I do notice in a lot of group situations is that the student is hearing the teacher say, bring your heels towards the floor or to the floor. So the student walks the feet up closer to the hands and ends up really hunching the back. So let me give you a visual for that. So the student's hamstrings and low back are tight. They walk their feet up so their full foot can land on the floor. And you can see here, I'm very rounded and moving really forward in my shoulder. I've got my heels on the floor, so I'm doing dog, right? All right. So the answer to that is obviously no. So if you're new to yoga, the purpose of downward facing dog is to extend the spine. Just like in most of the yoga postures, we want to get this extension of the spine. And to get the extension of the spine, you need to have space or distance between your toes and your hands. Otherwise, you're going to be rounded forward and hunched forward. And even though you have your heels on the floor, there's no space to grow. There's no space to assume that length or to feel that length. So I recommend a couple things. First, if your low back and hamstrings are tight, you're going to bend your knees, because what is so important in this posture is getting the sits bones up to the ceiling. The second piece of the puzzle is this is a leg pose, not an arm pose, meaning some postures, the primary focus in doing them is to build this awareness and strength in the upper body and the arms. And it would be something like crow pose, an arm balance. Downward facing dog is a leg posture. And although there is weight in the hands and engagement of arms, what you want to feel is the strength of the legs drawing the head of the femur, the top of the thigh bone back, which helps lift the sits bones up. And then from that, the lower belly draws in. So let me show you. So first is hamstrings and low back are tight. And this would be what your down dog would look like in that scenario. It's not quite dog, it's not quite high plank pose. So what I say to this student is bend the knees and start to press your mat forward, press your palms down, and bring your lower belly, your lower ribs to your thighs. And just notice that difference. So from here, there's probably a lot of struggle into here. With this position, the sits bones are lifted up to the ceiling. It's that anterior tilt of the pelvis that I talk about. And then you're drawing your lower belly in. Notice how that moves my pelvis when I pull my lower belly in. Can you see that? And then hug the upper arms in and relax the neck. Ears are between the upper arms. This is a great place to begin your downward facing dog. Let's say your hamstrings are relatively mobile, then you will straighten your legs and the heels might be lifted, and this might not be hamstrings, it could be some tightness in the Achilles or even in the calf, and that's what I really recommend doing some yoga belt stretches, which I do in my forward fold yoga online course. So press the mat away with the hands
And then feel yourself lift the sits bones up, just like with the bent knees. Pull the belly in, and then in time, you want to work towards the heels moving towards the floor. And you want to be able to feel this access of pressing the head of the femur, tops of the thigh bones back, sits bones lifting up. Hands are firm on the floor, and your upper arms hug in towards each other. So there, you're engaging the strength of the legs, strength of core, and you're working your upper arms, but it's a leg posture. You need the dynamic of the legs drawing back for the pelvis to lift up. And that anterior tilt to the pelvis allows the spine to lengthen and cascade down. And it actually almost feels like you're bringing some space between the individual vertebrae of the spine. And I know when students say, if I only have 5 minutes a day, what should I do? And it's downward facing dog. It's a posture that really opens the body, and it's an inversion. Your head's below your heart, and you're using a lot of strength. And it just has that calming feel when you're in it for at least a minute. Give yourself some time. It's not just a mere transition to rush through. So until next time, take much care, and I look forward to seeing you on the mat soon. Namaste.